President Bola Ahmed Tinubu forwards list of 4 nominees as Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chief to the Senate for confirmation. Advanced gender equality is the focus as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark World Population Day. Oncologist takes a look on measures to combat cancer burden in the country. Good evening. Welcome to NTA Ijebu Ode News at 7. My name is Waliat Yunisa. Now the news in details. President Bola Tinubu communicates with the Senate seeking the confirmation of the appointment of Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chief. President of Senate Godwill Akpabio, while reading the communication at commencement of the plenary on Tuesday, notes that it's in line with the provision of the Armed Forces Act.
On the 13th of June 2023. Meanwhile, in anticipation of a supplementary budget from the executive, the Senate has set up a committee on appropriation with Senator Adeola Olamilekan as chairman and Senator Mohammed Ali Ndumi as deputy chairman.
The Senate President has constituted a 9-member special committee. They are as follows:
to be chaired by Senator Titus Zam, while Senator Sunday Karimu chairs Committee on Ethics and Public Petitions, and Senator Okechukwu Ezia is to serve as chairman. Other committees include that of Public Accounts with Senator Aliu Wadada as chairman. Senator Shehu Umar is chairman, National Security and Intelligence. Meanwhile, Committee on Legislative Compliance is to be headed by Senator Garba Musa, with that of Media and Publicity to be chaired by Senator Adeyemi Aderamodu, while Operations Committee Chairman is Senator Adeola Olamilekan.
The population will hit 8.6 billion by 2030. And 9.8 billion by 2050, according to United Nations projections. This underscores some importance of accurate census for proper planning. Ifeoma Ojinta in this report put the issues in perspective as the World Population Day is observed.
Nation at 8 billion humans moving on the earth with limited resources. According to United Nations, approximately 83 million people are being added to the world population daily. In this regard, overpopulation remains a worry as it is linked with global warming, resource depletion, malnutrition, and possible spread of deadly disease.
When we conduct a census and have the data, it will advise political decisions. It will make us know how many people are educated, how many are women, how many are girls, how many are adolescents, how many are in the working age population, how many are educated, how many are employed or unemployed, what's the migration status, how many people live in the rural area, and how many people are in the urban cities. It will tell us a lot of, will give us a lot of information that can advise development.
It is for this reason that the World Population Day draws attention of the public towards the need to curb overpopulation and work towards accuracy.
We are living in fear of population explosion. If we look at the population of Nigeria, and if we look at the placement in the world population, it is, if you say that Nigeria may be the 4th largest or 3rd largest population, that portends a lot of trouble and danger for us, because we are not sure whether we are prepared for the upsurge in that population. That becomes inevitable that the census should be allowed forward so that the figures we give government will assist in planning.
The 2023 World Population Day has as its theme Unleashing the Power of Gender Equality. Experts in the population subsector say Nigeria is committed to achieving gender equality and conducting a credible 2023 population and housing census for national planning and development. Ifeoma Ojinta, NTN.
Similarly, advancing gender equality to create just, resilient, and sustainable world has remained imperative in the development of any society. This is the thrust of this year's World Population Day, as it focuses on addressing the issues and chart a way forward. Lem Lineken reports.
Has shown that Nigeria is the 6th most populated nation in the world, with an estimated 216 million people. Women and girls constitute 49.7% of this population. Quality formal education for women and girls, as well as acquiring life-changing skills, remains key for this significant population to contribute meaningfully to the nation's developmental goals. The theme, Unleashing the Power of Gender Equality, is apt as it seems to address the right of women and girls targeted at achieving the Sustainable Development Goals 5.
So there is need to give them equal rights. There is need to allow them have access to all the basic infrastructure or social amenities. They should have equal access as their male counterpart to education, to health, and to housing. They need to, because that will sustain the population.
Holders are advocating total inclusion of women and girls in mainstreaming gender policies to empower women. This, they said, is imperative for national growth and development.
I want to enjoin women to keep on fostering for that equality. That is very essential. And believe you me, I mean, you can look at what we have in the Senate and whatnot. Basically, I mean, you can see that women are actually underrepresented. And even in other areas and aspects of leadership in the country.
Addressing these challenges is also key to reducing poverty and strengthening family planning. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
The need for oncologists to be committed leverage on their expertise, resources, and experience to combat cancer burden in the country came up strongly at the oncology stakeholders meeting. The forum is aimed at changing the narratives of cancer prevention, diagnosis, and treatment in Nigeria. Basi Itaipen reports that the National Institute of Cancer Research and Treatment was officially unveiled at the meeting.
Appropriate diagnosis and treatment can prevent as well as reduce the number of cancer-related deaths in the country. This was the view of the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Health, who was represented. He appreciated the prospects and solutions put forward by the Institute towards reducing the burden of cancer in the country.
And of course, you being experts, as it were, you even do it better and you do it larger. Cancer control and care in Nigeria, we are in for a better time.
Former Minister of Health Isaac Adewale attributed the recent increase in cancer to exposure, risk factor, and change in lifestyle, while the Director General of the Institute, Professor Usman Aliyu, stressed the need for collaboration to fight the scourge.
Therefore, elucidating the burden and risk factors of cancers, which help in prevention and early detection, is critical in LMICs to reduce cancer mortality and boost survival rates.
In recognition of the need for a more coordinated and multi-sectoral response to the growing cancer burden in Nigeria. Together, let us make a difference and strive toward a future where cancer is no longer a threat to humanity.
The logo of the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, NICRET, was also unveiled. Basi Taipan, NTA News.
As a way to contribute to the growth of the maritime sector in Nigeria, members of the Maritime Association of Nigeria, MARAN, organized a breakfast meeting to engage stakeholders on the need to improve activities around the port, especially the Tinkan port. Adobe Obiechina files and the report.
With the theme for the Maritime Reporters Association of Nigeria, MARAN breakfast meeting, rehabilitation of the Tinkan Island port, profiling workable solutions, stakeholders eschewed the challenges Nigerians face in becoming a maritime hub for West Africa due to the degrading state of the port infrastructure. They call on quick intervention by relevant stakeholders.
Here today, we have identified issues that we think we need to take to the government. And that has to do with the need to, one, let's see, find a way to decentralize import activities in the West. Let us have to evolve a process that will give, improve our inland portal transportation. We need to open it up.
The authority is doing a lot about it. We are reached advanced stage with the support of government about funding arrangement to address these issues. Once it kicks off, our focus will be primarily on Tinkan Island Port.
I also would like to urge the barging association to bring this up formally with the Nigerian Shippers Council, because to the best of my knowledge, that information is not available to us. So now that I have now been, of course, giving first-hand information today, as soon as I go back, we will also activate our internal processes to examine the situation with a view to addressing it frontally. So I won't wait for you anymore to come and give me a formal request, because I'll take this as a formal request that has been given to us. But I want to assure you that as far as landside charges are concerned, they cannot and they should never be denominated in dollars.
Others profile solutions to be taken to ensure that Nigerian ports become more attractive to global investors.
We know things that goes on in the industry, and we know that the key apron at Tinkan is becoming very problematic because we've not taken proper care of the key aprons for a while. We've been doing remedial work instead of doing major capital work on that key apron, and we felt that if something is not done immediately to correct that anomaly, it will get to a point where ships can no longer come to Tinkan Port, and that we don't want to happen.
These issues lead to demurrage, and then demurrage increases prices. These prices are transferred to the common people on the streets, and that is something that can really, really be avoided.
My comment about Tinkan Island, not only the terminal as a whole, the road linking to the port is not arbitrable, and it has been a matter of the union getting to the stakeholder that place should be given an attention.
They have really done justice to the issue that is bothering all the whole port operations.
The new escorts of Maran were officially inaugurated.
To the best of my ability, faithfully, and in accordance with the Constitution and the laws governing Maran.
Maran Breakfast Meeting is the first of its kind and will be on monthly to discuss salient issues affecting the maritime industry. Adobe Obiechina, NTA News.
Drug abuse has been described as a major factor to poor mental development. Stakeholders at a one-day forum for secondary school students organized by the Crime Reporters Association of Nigeria called on youths to stay away from drug abuse, caution, and other social vices. Tisilayo Oke tells us more.
The teenager is in the process of maturing. It is more focused on taking risks than the adult brain. They are into exploring their personalities, as well as trying out new things, which include their freedom and exploring drugs. Drug abuse can lead to short or long-term negative health effects. It can be physical and mental, ranging from moderate to severe. To this end, Crime Reporters Association of Nigeria organized a one-day stakeholders meeting to sensitize school children on the dangers of drug abuse and child trafficking. Speakers at the event took turn to educate the children on the ills of drug abuse and dangers associated with drug abuse.
What I really enjoy here, I've never seen any police officer or any of the security agents coming to us to preach against cultism, to prepare us against drugs. We go to university, nobody prepared us, and some of the when we got to school, we fell victim.
It has been discovered in recent times that
during the course of exploitation, of sexual exploitation, traffickers ensure that drugs are being used, that victims of human trafficking are being placed on drugs. They use drugs for them so that they can be able to perform sexually with their clients, so that they can be able to sleep, to have sexual intercourse with about 10 to 20 or 30 people in a day.
When we discover that, apart from arresting those who indulge in crime, we need to educate people not to get involved in crime, in drug abuse at all. We started with organizing seminars for people, for adults, but we discovered that some of these substances are finding their ways to schools, even primary schools. So in the last 2 years, we've been taking it to secondary schools to enlighten the students, to let them know the security implication, the health implication, and other things that may affect them as a result of indulging in drug abuse.
Some of the students expressed their delight as the meeting had been an eye-opener to them.
Talking about drug abuse, that how drug abuse is bad to society, the effects of drug abuse, which leads most of the problems in Nigeria are caused by drug abuse due to youth exuberance and depression.
Today we learned the effect of drug abuse, reasons why people partake in drug abuse and drug trafficking, and the effect of drug abuse. I learned that there is a relationship between drug trafficking, human trafficking, and drug abuse. And I've get to know more about the effects of human trafficking.
Crime Reporters Association of Nigeria over the years had been educating Nigerian youth on the danger of drug abuse, cultism, and the need to stay away from crimes. Titilayoke, NTA News.
Break. Stay tuned.
Are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide tonight.
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Welcome back. Nigeria has received its first organic certification for shea butter collection in a wide for the Europe Union and United States. The Nigeria Exports Promotion Council, NEPC, and its partners unveiled the certification to the public with the pledge to empower more women in the shea butter value chain. Details in this report.
We are happy because what we are seeing here is going to quadruple the export of shea butter from Nigeria. It's going to increase the volume and the value of Nigerian non-oil exports.
The impediment that we will have being able to enter into the niche market, like Mrs. Obidike has said, is the certificate that proves that this thing is actually organic and it has complied with all the standards.
Which means that even when we export, it will not be rejected, which is another issue. We have to begin to create infrastructure around it. We have to begin to develop the value chain, and there's so much more that can be done.
Nigeria's biosafety system is seen by some African countries as a whole-encompassing tool in tackling risk associated with the use of biotechnology in the production of genetically modified food and other organisms. Charles Alpha reports that the Burkina Faso is the latest African country understudying Nigeria in this regard.
Countries in search of a safe and effective biosystem see the Nigerian experience as a source of inspiration. and its system a veritable tool in guaranteeing a safer environment. From its standard template on mode of biosafety operations to regulating the presence of genetically modified organisms either in imported or exported products, Nigeria's Biosafety Management Agency is not compromising standard in ensuring research institutes firm with internationally acceptable standards through active communication and legal framework. These have attracted delegation from Burkina Faso, and they are in Nigeria to understudy this system.
We are concerned about the human health, the animal health, plant life, and also the environment. So we're doing it right. That's why they are coming, and we will continue to do it right.
For the Burkina Faso team, a lot of components necessary for operations are lacking in their country, and the team sees Nigeria's case as an eye-opener.
We have learned that if you need to utilize biotechnology, you need to have a strong biosafety system with all of the components. So Nigeria is doing very well.
They are at the verge of validating their national communication strategy, non-medicine, and we are here to also put them through.
This study is hoped will further boost the already existing bilateral cooperation between Nigeria and Burkina Faso. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
On automotive design and development, the federal government helps us towards the poverty alleviation and tackling unemployment, especially among the youths, are gaining more visibility in Ekiti State, as the skills of the 30 auto technicians have been sharpened on modern automobile maintenance. Olukemi Sani reports that training helps at the National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, in Ado Ekiti.
Redefine the nation's automobile industry and promote international best practices in the automotive sector. The federal government, through the National Automotive Design and Development Council, established automotive training centers across the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. 6 weeks after the inauguration of the center in Ado Ekiti, 30 technicians are undergoing training on modern ways of automobile repairs and maintenance.
Sitting down, just typing it here, the time you go in your prices,
and the federal government also. So I'm here, I'm appealing to them, the federal government also, to do more of this, so that all the mechanics can have a very great knowledge.
The Director General, National Automotive Design and Development Council, Jelani Aliyu, says the bid to tackle the challenges posed by dearth of modern technical skills is the aim of the training.
It will empower them, it will create more job for them, it will make them more confidence, it will make them to earn more income, so that they will be out of the main road, taking vices, different vices. But if we have something in your hand that you are doing, it will be okay for you, and that's why we are giving it to them.
We say thank you so much to the federal government of Nigeria, thank you to the NADCC, thank you to the Federal Ministry of Investment Trade. So this is the first one, and it's going to be the first of many of the trainings.
Over 20,000 persons have so far been trained in the periodical program across the country. In Ado Ekiti, Olukemi Sani, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has congratulated Asisat Oshoala, the Nigeria forward Barcelona female striker, following her well-deserved nomination for the prestigious 2023 Ballon d'Or award, while acknowledging Oshoala's contribution to the world football both in Nigeria and in the diaspora. Correspondent tells us more.
Career in Spain. The First Lady, in a statement issued by her office, expressed immense pride in her achievements and extolled her talent and dedication, which she noted has made the game more appealing. Ahead of the unveiling of the winner on September 6, 2023, Her Excellency praised that this year Asisat Oshoala will once again bring immense glory to our beloved nation by clinching the coveted Ballon d'Or award for the year. And the First Lady hopes that Oshoala's exceptional skills and outstanding performances inspire and encourage the youth, especially young girls, to show interest in the game of soccer. It is worthy of note that Oshoala has already secured the African Women's Footballer of the Year title 5 consecutive times, along with the BBC Women's Footballer of the Year award, amongst other sterling recognitions.
The funeral arrangements for the erudite communication and media scholar Professor Lai Osho begins on Tuesday, 11th of July 2023, with a day of tribute by the Lagos State University Faculty of Communication and Media Studies at the Buba Marwa Auditorium, Lagos State University, Ojo, Lagos, beginning from 10 a.m. This is to be followed by a day of tribute on Wednesday, 13th July 2023. The tertiary institutions in Ogun State offering mass communication and professional association, such as the Nigeria Union of Journalists, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, Friends and Associates of the deceased, among others, to be held at the OGD Hall. Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Abeokuta, from 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Christian Wakekeep holds on Thursday, 13th of July 2023 at Mercy Hall, 14 Bolanle Avenue, along GRA Road, opposite Coca-Cola Depot, and back of Prudent Oil along Shagam GRA Road by 4 o'clock p.m. Funeral service will take place at Remo Traditional Council Hall, Afin Akarigbo, Itaoba, Shagamu on Friday at 10 o'clock a.m., while reception follows immediately. May his soul rest in peace.